Well, hello everyone, this is my look at the game Project Cars, which I got at the weekend, so I've had it now about 48 hours, and I have to admit I'm really impressed with this game. I'd read a lot about it with people saying it was better than Forza, better than Gran Turismo, etc. And I was always a bit sceptical of such things, but I think this was made by some of, or if not the whole team, that used to make the GTR 2 game that I used to play an awful lot when I was younger, and that was to this day my favourite racing game up until I got this one, which has now replaced it. I'm going to give you a quick little overview of some of what all this on screen means. Career mode is as you would expect. You can continue an existing career, or you can set up to 4 careers in different classes. You can go for different achievement paths as well, like this one for instance. You have to start in karting and end up right the way through to what this game's equivalent of the Formula 1 series. You can pick the number of cars, your names, all the rest of it. It's pretty extensive really. It's something I've not really dabbled in, to be honest with you, because my first thoughts when I was to start playing this game was to jump straight into free practice, this option here, and basically just explore some of the cars and some of the tracks and see what the handling was like, and I'll discuss that in a little bit. This coming soon I think is going to be the on-demand thing you can do for DLC, where you'll be able to select certain parts of DLC and not other parts of DLC. I'll admit I have already been and purchased all DLC for this game. There was only 2 car packs, 10 cars in total, and I think one was about £2.50, one was about £3 something, so they were both quite cheap. The online, I've not yet been brave enough to venture online or to try any of the community events. I've done a little bit in the time trial here, which was good fun. Your garage is where, well, I'll show you your garage. It's basically where you would get to select cars that you would basically want to have a look at the paint jobs of. With the exception of this one, because there is no paint jobs, because the license says it comes in this colour and this colour only. So that was a bad example on my part. Let's look at the Audi. Well, I like the Audis. I've got it set to this paint job currently, but there are 4, I believe, 3 or 4 different liveries for it. 1, 2, there's 3, and I run number 3 because I like the little bit of yellow on it. As you can see, it displays the stats. If you go to take a photo, you've got your usual thing where you can, change various bits and pieces. It should let you rotate the camera, but for whatever reason it's deciding it's not going to let me rotate the camera, so just go back on that. But yeah, you can take pictures of the cars here. You can actually do it on track as well, which I've taken some quite nice pictures of various cars on different tracks. And the view info option is essentially what's already basically displayed on screen, just it puts different angles on the car, so you get to look at your favourite cars in quite exquisite detail really. My PC is quite powerful, so I am running this in, I think, mainly ultra settings, and it does look beautiful. I've messed around with different times of day as well, which I'll probably show you, in different weather effects, and yeah, I have to admit I am very pleasantly surprised with this game. I'm going to do a lot more exploring with it, I believe, and I can see me pretty much getting any and all DLC for it if the prices stay as they've already stayed, which will, less than having lunch out with a girlfriend. Yeah, I'll show you some of the actual cars rather than just bleating on for no apparent reason. I've not used all the cars yet, I've only used a small selection of them. So we'll mess around in free practice. I'm going to stay on that circuit quite simply because it's one of my favourites. I'll do the first few laps in the Owl D, but I'll show you some of the other cars. We'll start from the top. There's little go-karts, which I've not tried. I imagine those things are going to handle really nicely. There's a nice little LMP2, again, not tried that yet. Aerial Atoms, which are quite popular with people. Not tried that yet, though I'm quite intrigued to do so. I have had a go in this Aston Martin, and it handles about as well as the LMPs did in Gran Turismo. If that makes any sense to you, it handles really nicely. Not tried that yet, but again I will be doing. This car is the one I've spent the most time in, and this handles way better than its Gran Turismo version did. Way better. Much fun. Going to try this one at some point, because I've used that quite a bit as well in Gran Turismo 6, and I found it a bit twitchy in Gran Turismo 6, but this might be due to the fact that I am playing on a joypad. This game has kind of convinced me now to seek out and get a decent steering wheel and pedal set, because I think this game would really benefit from it. And I'm sure many of you who have played Gran Turismo or Forza etc. on wheels will probably say the same about those. I was into them, but never really into them enough to really feel like the expense would be warranted, whereas I do with this one, because yeah, this handles like I'd like it to handle. Not tried that or that other Audi R8 version. Not a big fan of BMW, if I'm honest, though the cars do look quite nice. I might try that one, and I'll definitely try this one at some point, because that is a nice little car, even though I'm not the biggest fan of BMW in the world at all. Got one other DLCs purely to get this car that you see here. Well, this one and the next car. The current Blancpain GT3 Bentley Continental, which is rather nice. Not tried that yet, but I will be doing. I have used this one for 2 to 3. Well, 2 to 3, I was going to say 2 to 3 little sessions, but it was about half an hour in total. And yeah, it handles really nicely. I think it's slightly faster than the Audi LMP one, but that might just because I was more used to the track by the time I started using this, so it could just be coincidental. Not tried that yet, or that, or that. In fact, I've not tried most of these cars that I'm showing you right now. I have tried that though. I'm hoping they bring the modern version of that with the full aero kit into this game, because I think it will be fantastic. You can do custom liveries, I've read, but you need to be decent with either Photoshop or GIMP to do so. There are guides online. I'm probably going to have a look at doing one, because I quite fancy doing a custom paint job, though I've not decided which car for yet. I'll see which other cars get released, and then if that happens to be a favourite of mine, say for instance the GT40 or the GT Ford, whatever they're calling it now, were to be put into this game, I would probably have a go at that, because that's a favourite of mine. Might give that a go at some point, because it looks pretty sweet. As you can see, quite a few cars in here. This is the one of the Formula A's that they've done, Formula B. I'm not quite sure what the difference is, because I don't tend to really bother much with the open-wheeled racing cars. I'm more of a enduro car racing fan, to be honest. That's why I immediately jumped on the Audi LMP when I saw it, because big fan. But for those of you that like your open wheel racing, there's a nice starting amount of cars in here for you guys as well. There's some Lotuses a bit further up as well, which I'll get to. That looks pretty nice. There's the Lotuses, as I mentioned. I might have to give that a spin though, just because that looks pretty meaty. Some more LMPs. That's a nice car. I'm going to have to give that a spin at some point as well. And probably that. I've used this one as well. It feels as you'd expect with it being a front engine car, it feels quite front heavy, which is nice because I used to use the Dodge Viper quite a bit in GTR 2, so this drives and handles relatively similar to that. Not used a lot of these cars. I've got so many of these cars to actually really explore. These look pretty cool, which we'll probably have a look at some point. As you can see, there's a lot of cars that you'd expect to be in a game like this that aren't in the game yet. I emphasise yet because I have a feeling they're working out deals with various manufacturers to get more Japanese cars in, etc. And with the game already selling over 1 million copies in its first month, I think they'll have some quite decent leverage to be able to get some of the other manufacturers in. That's going to be fun to try at some point as well. And I think this was this month's free car, because from what I've read, we're going to get a car every month, and I think that was May's car, so I don't think we've actually had one in June yet, but there is time. So yeah, lots of lovely cars. But again, it has got a much smaller roster if you're used to things like Forza and Gran Turismo. But then again, a lot of the cars in those games probably didn't get used so much. I mean, I was a big fan of the 787B Mazda, which I would have great fun with, but there's a lot of other Mazdas and Toyotas, etc. You know, like the little everyday cars, etc. that people were a great big fan of, which, to be honest, once you get past the basic parts of the game, very few people actually bother with. I'm just going to turn this down, otherwise I won't be able to hear myself when I actually try and do anything in game. Which is kind of a shame, to be honest, because the engine sounds are quite nice in this game. It does do a good job of that. So I'll show you guys a bit of the actual on-track comedy that is. I warn you now, I am running this with automatic gears and the racing line is on, though I tend not to really pay much attention to it, simply due to the fact that while I find I can brake later than it suggests, and it works fine for me, but obviously everyone's different, and obviously I am nowhere near as fast as some people at this game or this track, but I have fun and I'm going to get better at it, and obviously when I get the driving steering wheel, the pedals, etc., I'll probably improve even further, just due to the fact that I think these sort of games are designed for that type of thing. Go, go, go! As you can see, it looks quite nice. I'm going to start out just doing a couple of laps of it during the day, then I'll do a couple of laps at night, and then I'll mess around with the weather effects of it. Stick the fog on and rain, etc. This bit is handled by the computer. Now it's giving me manual controls, so just that. Like I say, I've got the brakes turned up for it with the orange of this one. Made a complete mess of it though, as you saw. The tyres are cold, so one of the things I tested on this game is whether or not you actually go up that corner on Rouge flat, or whether you had to brake to actually successfully make it up, and the answer is you can actually go up it flat, so I'll try and demonstrate the next time. It's a lot easier to play this game when you're not trying to do any kind of country. As you can see, the frame rate's pretty good. Again, this is quite a PC, so mileage may vary depending on the hardware, or if you play on the consoles. I've heard they've had some issues, especially when there's plenty of cars on track. As you can see, it's just me, just to demonstrate. Basically, you can see where I'm not demonstrating that for a while, because I can do that in a later video. Speedback's quite funny too. sort of slide wheel strip wheel spin. Feel quite connected to the car, you know the car's doing. Another corner lot in there. To as well, you had to let it pop. Whereas this one you can just keep it planted, the handle feels so much better in this game. The track I want to actually get to go to one day, I've actually watched one of the 24-hour races because the atmosphere was amazing. I was kind of hoping actually the nighttime race that the fireworks going off like doing the actual event, but I didn't see it. Really good fun. There we go. That's all it is. Everything's just supposed to be done flat out. I'll complete this lap. Seconds. It's the 29th time. I could have probably picked a simpler track to demonstrate this is one it's one I know relatively well, so I think I can try that in the completely shit out of it. I say completely shit because I'm sure some of you guys are way faster at it than I am. But that said, I'm very happy with the time I've had on it. Probably a little bit of time I spent actually going against AI cars. I noticed that they do drop off chunks of rubber off the tyres like the real cars do. The tyres stacked together behind the road, which I thought was a really nice touch. I can't really be by surprise when I first saw it, so that much time watching that I know what I was doing and getting to the back of the car. I've not tried Nordic Chef yet, I imagine it's going to be pretty interesting. I might do that in a few times if I do, that is a long track, so I might do these video to myself, as would possibly be going to a corner track. Which yes, I have been around a bit, so this one. Still trying for braking points, because like I say, the racing line through is a work function. So that's the lap completed. Considerably slower than what I've done in previous. What I'll do is I'll park it here and quickly show you photo mode. Now it's actually working for me, so you can get some quite nice shots. He says. So you can just kind of park it up, and then as you can see here, there's various things that you can tinker with and, you know, mess about with. Those of you who are good at photography probably know what some of these things have to do with pictures far better than I do, so I'm simply just going to take a bog standard picture just to illustrate my point. And now I'm going to attempt the same track, the same car, but I'll change the time of day on the race to night time, so we starting time to be 11 o'clock. Now I've only done a couple of laps in the dark, so this should be quite interesting. I shall try not to completely wreck the car.
Go, go, go!
Doesn't affect the frame rate much, I've noticed, which is good. I am going to attempt monoblock steering wheel, etc, set up, and I'm more used to it, the manual gears, etc. I'm going to attempt a 24-hour race. I might even stream it just because I think it'll be fun. You guys will get to see me get gradually more delirious as the night goes on. again, I like how it handled that instantly, just so there. I'd like to say I did that to the point to illustrate the point, but I didn't. What it has illustrated though is that had that been Gran Turismo, you would have crashed then, there would have been no two ways about it. The car would have crashed, you would not have been able to recover it. It would have just gone off and that would have been it. Whereas in this, the handling will actually allow you to just recover the car and prevent what could have been a surefire crash. Which is another thing I love about this game. The handling is so much better. No, I'm not doing a perfect job of going with it, but I am obviously concentrating on talking as much as I am actually steering the car. So I kind of split my attention to it, hence missing apexes and just general climbing the road. Hopefully I'm illustrating the point that you can see from the bits that I am doing relatively well, but this game is good. That's what happens when you try to accelerate and the car's actually resting on the screen. Let's get it this button. Missed that completely. This thing's got good brakes. Easier than what I am now because you guys really want to see me trying to pass all this out in 2 minutes. Because I'm playing on PC as well, which is obviously I spend on my PlayStation 3. At least 6 or 7 seconds and I'm slower than the best of this, but so switch. I'm going to try not to absolutely this game. Small wicket. Get a picture in the dark. It does most of the time not show the racing line as well, which is quite nice. So it does kind of spoil things. Oh, that'll do. Should have stopped on Eau Rouge again. We could have got a nice picture with all the scenery in the background. Right. Let's do a daytime race, but with a storm. Let's do a 1 o'clock start. Heavy rain with fog. Yeah, we'll try that. Now let's see what this does to the frame rate. Bearing in mind there are no other cars on circuit, so I dare say that will have an effect on it.
Go, go, go!
But yeah, not too bad. Nice rain effect. Very nice rain effect. I'm assuming that the car has been set up to rain, e.g. it is not on slicks, but we'll soon find out on the first trait if the car says it's going to spin itself round. Control nice pen, no, looking at attention, awesome. There we go. Oh, fancy shit. I should really show some of the humans, shouldn't I really? Taking it very steady up the ridge. That's a good time to start next time with a few minutes in car view. So what's weird in car views actually, it's just this one, which is quite cool. This one. Which I don't know how anybody can drive for this one personally. Other than car views do it, but this one's just a bit powerful. Who's this? I'll do like the light, let's work on this one. This viewpoint terrible. So this one I can live with. Absolutely zero traction. It's raining, it's bad, put the safety car out. One thing you're not getting to really appreciate through this video is the quality of the audio. The cars sound much nicer in this than they do in I'm sorry to sound like I'm completely putting those two games down, I'm not, because I'm actually big fans of both franchises. It's just that I feel this game, at least for me on the PC, is going to be much better due to looks. Yeah, complete fail. Due to the superior ability of PCs in terms of hardware, although from what I hear, the console version of this game is also very good. So if you've hasn't got a console, probably not be worth to look, especially if it's in certain drivers and so on. Well, to be fair, until relatively recently I spent more time watching car racing than actually playing games on car racing. Managing to at least make this game look like you guys might actually enjoy playing it if you don't already own it. It is a really good game. So. Yeah, that's cool. Kind of right, it was actually easy to go on that corner flat than it was to try and coast around. Lucky for me, the pit lane's here. Oh shit, that'd be a penalty if it was a real race. Right, it just takes you through the pit. Obviously you get to pick your fuel strategy, what fuel you want, whether you want new tyres, change your compound, change your tyre pressures, front and rear, fix damage if you've managed to wreck anything, change your aero if you want. And obviously it'll take you into the pitch and make you do any of that, so I've not selected anything. Sort that for you, and it's just going to fire you back out onto the track. Like so. But this time I remembered it's actually I'll try and do a stop around Rouge and get a picture of the wonderful rain. Should we say that really, to live in England? Yeah, that'll do. So yeah, people, this is Project Cars. I would personally really recommend it. Maybe tomorrow night, if I'm feeling brave, I might attempt an online race, and I might even record my first online race so you guys can have a good laugh how crap I am. But I wholeheartedly recommend this game. It's impressed me immensely. Yeah, I am very, very happy with this game, and I will be getting all DLCs, and as and when I get anything of any interest or they're releasing new tracks, etc., I will probably do some videos on them like I've been doing with my MechWarrior series. But I think I'll be splitting my time between that and this and a few other games, so I thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it and it's not been too painful watching my rubbish driving, and I will catch you all on my next video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.